Hey friends, I didn't wind up doing a mid-month June wrap-up, and I don't remember why. I think because I was busy and I had a lot going on in June. But I am back. So June was the month of the amazing readathon, which is definitely one of my favorite competitive-based readathons. I love Brie, and I love all the work that she does into this readathon. So I wound up reading 14 things in the month of June. It was a bit of it's not like a hard month, but it was like a busy month. It was the last month of school. I had a lot of senior-ish activities, and it was just busy. Like, I just got back from ALA, which is always busy, but it was a busy month with a lot of unexpected things happening that I didn't really plan for. So my show ended, we had a party, it was a lot, but I did wind up reading 14 things. So I'm going to do my stats first, and then I'm going to kind of go through all the books that I read, and if I can remember why I read them, I will tell you like what legs they were for. But yeah, let's get into it. I read 14 things for an average of 4,176 pages. My average page count per day was 139 pages. My average page count was 298. I read a ridiculous amount of mystery books, which really has been the case this whole year. I've been listening to a lot of mysteries because my audiobook has mostly been the Ellie Alexander series, and I've been reading a lot of those. I read 2 books with wrap, 10 from authors I've read before, and I haven't hauled any books technically, but I have hauled a couple that just came in the mail, but I also got back from ALA, and I don't put those on my spreadsheet because they're all for free. I had 2 5-stars, I had 6 4-stars, 1 3.5 star, and 6 4-stars for an average rating of 3.64. I read 7 new releases, 5 backlist, 2 from last year. I read 4 physical, 7 audio, 0 mixed media, and 3 ebooks, which was mostly because I was traveling. And then series starter, I started 6, I continued in 5. I read 3 standalones, and I read 7 companion. I read 3 middle grade, 3 young adult, and 8 adult. I read 1 ARC, 3 from Audible, 2 from the library, 6 owned, 2 from Everand, and I read 3 fantasy, 4 mystery, 3 romance, 3 fantasy romance, and 1 graphic novel or manga. Yeah, so, and I also read a couple of like short stories in there as well. So yeah, let's get into it. So we started the amazing readathon. If I can get my thingy to come up. We started the amazing, and this is how I did it. I basically picked 2 books for each leg prompt, and then just whatever leg prompt I finished first counted, and then whatever book I did not read for a leg prompt, I just read for a sightseeing prompt. So the first book I read was Fable for the End of the World, and it basically had to be a book with like a green cover, and mine definitely was green. So for this book, I read 2. I read A Fable's Guide for the End of the World and A Grim Reaper's Guide to Catching a Killer. So I will attach both of those pictures here. I'll be honest, I still am in my Last of Us era, so I did really enjoy Fable at the End of the World. I would give this book like 3.754 stars. I think I can see why people did not classify this as a romance. It is very Hunger Games coded, very Last of Us coded. You basically have this girl who her mom is basically in debt, and she kind of put her daughter up to be in this competition to be killed by an assassin killer, and then they kind of wind up teaming up and going on the run to kind of save each other. And it's a very quick read, very Hunger Games coded, very zombie-esque. I liked it. I just don't think the characters were that memorable. The voices weren't that memorable either, which is why I gave the ARC to one of my students, why I don't have a physical copy anymore. But I thought it was a very like quick and digestible read. I just didn't feel that connected to the characters. And then I had to read a book with a violent word in the title. I don't remember what that was for. So I picked up A Grim Reaper's Guide to Catching a Killer, and I would have attached a photo at some point. But this is a cozy mystery about a person that's a Grim Reaper, and she kind of has to solve a murder of a soul that like she has to basically reap. And it was just very like office coded. Like it felt like I was reading like a procedural, like sort of. It was fun. There was a fun cast of characters. I don't really have that much to say about it. I read it at the start of the month. But it was a fun series, and I would definitely consider keep reading the series like as audio because they were a fun listen and a quick listen. But it wasn't like a standout cozy mystery series that I would come back to. But it was like more paranormal-esque. There were some paranormal elements. The murder I didn't see coming. It was fun, so I gave that one 3.75 stars for review. And then the next book that I read was Unloved by Peyton Corinne. This was, I don't remember, I'm so bad at this. I don't remember what I picked this up for. Oh, I think this, I don't remember, but this was the second book in the Unsteady series, and I adored this book. I gave this book 5 stars. So you basically follow Matt, Freddie, and Ro, and Matt has dyscalculia, which is a learning disability, which I have. He's also a hockey player, and Ro is his tutor, and they are definitely going through it. They are dealing with a lot, and they have to kind of navigate it, and it's a very, very emotional book. I really felt connected to both characters in the story for various reasons. Ro really is a people pleaser, which I am a people pleaser, and you can kind of see people taking of advantage her throughout this whole story. You also do see the background of Unsteady in this book, so I would read Unsteady first. And I just love this story. I really, really love them. It was a very, very quick romance. It was emotional, and I really can't wait to see what this author writes next. But I had such a fun time with the story and gave it 5 stars. Definitely one of my favorite listens of the whole month. So yeah, this was really, really good. And then the next book that I read, I'm literally so bad. I don't remember what these prompts were for. I'm so sorry. I really should have done a mid-month wrap-up, but I didn't. But this was Chronicles of Weatherly, The Age of Enchantment by Anna James. I think I read this for a sightseeing. Oh, actually, maybe I didn't. I don't remember. I think I read this for a leg book. Yeah, but I don't remember which leg book I read it for. Oh, I remember. It was a special edition, or like an over-the-top cover, and this had sprayed edges, and I was reading this when I was going to see a show in the city, and I thought this book was really, really fun. I gave this book 4 stars. I read The Book Wanderers and didn't like the writing style, but this one I really did like. It basically has these 2 twins. They live in a magical society, and our main character, Juniper, discovers she's an enchanter, which is very, very rare, which means you have access to all the powers, and her brother is a bookbinder, and they wind up having to kind of go on this adventure to this town, and they basically have to like save the day, and they have to kind of team up. It was really, really cute. It was a quick read. There is illustrations in this, I think, as well. I can, maybe if I could find one I could show you. Yeah, so there are illustrations in here as well. But I really had a fun time with this book. I would definitely read another book. It's another magic school story, which is definitely a buzzword for me. I love magic school stories, and I've been trying to find some new ones. So this one was very, very cute, and I felt like it was more upper like middle grade written than when I read The Book Wanderers, which I didn't like as much. But this one was really, really fun, and I gave this book 4 stars, and I would definitely continue in the series. And then I read, this is purely for a sightseeing prompt, I read a book that had to have exactly 13 chapters. So I reread The Bad Beginning by Lemony Snicket. I will attach a photo of that here. I read The Bad Beginning like so long ago, but this was just because it had 13 chapters and I wanted to read something for the highest point. It was fun. I don't really like these books as much, but it's a very, very quick listen, and the audiobook is fun. So, and it was a very, very quick listen, but it's just a series where everything goes wrong for these children. There is really, really no happy ending, but it was a quick listen and it counted for the prompt. So I'm happy that I read that for my team. And then I wound up picking up The Whisperwood Legacy by Joe Schultz. I will attach a photo here. This I literally just picked up from Books of Wonder that weekend, so I literally bought 2 books and then unhauled them because I didn't like either of them, but that's okay. Sometimes books don't work. This is more like of a fantasy mystery, but I really did not like it. If you like Blood and You're Blown by Kelly Andrews, I think you would like this. If you liked, like, that was a book that I also didn't really like, but basically you have a main character, or like, I think it was trying to be the Inheritance Games, and it just didn't hit. So I had struggled with it. But you basically follow this character, and her grandmother goes missing, and she kind of owns this theme park that was shut down, and no one kind of knows why her grandmother shut this down. She kind of has to go back to her house and figure out where her grandmother is and what's going to happen with her estate. The characters weren't that memorable, and it was just sort of like an okay story. It didn't like wow me in any way. But I finished it. I attached it. And I think it had to have a, maybe this was for a bonus prompt. I don't remember what this one was for, but I read it. I gave it 3 stars, and I gave it to one of my students before she left because I thought she would like it more than I did. And the next book I read was Mocha She Wrote, and this book had to be like a cozy book when we went to the Shire. Now I will start to remember what these books were for because this was a lot shorter, like quicker in the thing. And I gave this book 4 stars. I really, really like this book. Here's a photo of it. This was a cozy mystery by Ellie Alexander. I think this is book like 11 or 10 in the series. There was a baking competition, like a cooking competition in the story, which worked perfect because I got my team bonus points. But you basically follow one of our persons, our barista working in the shop. He's in like a coffee competition and one dies and he's like the main suspect. And then our protagonist has to kind of save the day and make sure that he wasn't the murderer. And I really, really liked it. I gave the book 4 stars. I really do like this series. I am been a long-time favorite of the Joanne Fuca series, and I don't think those books are the best. These, I think, have solid, like, rep. They have solid mysteries. I feel like you see all the side characters, and I feel like it's just better written. So I really do like this series, and my goal is this summer is to catch up. I've been really in my mystery hour. I've been listening to a lot of mystery books because I'm in the middle of this series. That's why you guys see so many mysteries in so many of these books, because I'm really, really, really far behind. But I gave this book 4 stars, and then we were at the Shire. And then I also read for sightseeing the Strawberry Patch Pancake House by Laurie Gilmore. I don't remember what one this was for. It was a sightseeing prompt, but I will attach a photo of it here. This is the companion book in the Dream Harbor series. It's book 3. And this is an unexpected single dad romance, and it was fun. It was quick. It was steamy. I liked all the characters. I will say one thing about this series is the other characters, like the other books, are not that memorable. So like the characters when you're in their story are super memorable, but like after you read Pumpkin Spice or Cinnamon Bun or The Christmas Tree Farm, I don't feel like you ever really see those characters again, or if you do, they're not that memorable. But I really did like this book. I gave it 4 stars, and it was a fun single dad romance in kind of a different way, and I had a fun time with it, and I'm definitely excited for the next one in the series because they're very, very quick listens, hot, steamy, but super fun. And then we headed into Face Off Weekend, and I did not do the best job in Face Off Weekend, I'm gonna be real honest, but I read Once Upon a Rose by Gabrielle Landy that had a wintry setting. Don't think that this really, really counted, but in the book it was a wintry setting, and it had like a winter setting, so I'm gonna count it. But I will attach a photo here. This was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it was just really, really cute. It was quick. It was fun. I was really struggling this week. I remember like I felt like I was like my head was everywhere, and I really didn't do Face Off this year, but I did read this. It was quick. I read it for a wintry setting, and then I was like, oh god, Face Off's gonna end. What can I read next? So we'll get there when we get there. But it's basically a Beauty and the Beast retelling with fantasy elements. This girl, she winds up having to go be married to this guy. It's like an arranged marriage, and then there are dragons and there are mysteries, and it's really, really fun. It's really, really cute. I give this book 4.75 stars, and I really want to go back and read the other books in the series. And then because we were in Face Off, I read another book in the series. It was Once Upon a Cake, and this had like a trial and competition. It's basically like a Little Mermaid retelling. I will attach a photo of that here. It was 60 pages. It was fun. It was cute. I really do like her writing, so I'm definitely going to go back and see if there's any more audiobooks out because I do listen to them pretty quickly. But yeah, that is where we went for that one. And then the next book that I read was a book that had like a big city. So I read The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. I will attach a photo of that here. Mostly took place in LA, and it's a second chance sports romance, which, yo, my bonus prompts, I was really, really excited about that. And you basically follow these two characters that dated in college, then they kind of went their separate ways, and there was a bit of bad blood, but then she winds up being his like agent later in life, and it's a second chance romance, and I had fun. It was set mostly in LA, which is why I counted it for the prompt. And yeah, I had a really, really fun time with this book. It was fun, it was quick, and it was romance. And Sarah Adams is like probably one of my favorite romance authors because she's not as spicy. Spicy scenes can bore me a little bit. I know, that's just my personal opinion. They can. But she does do spice in her stories, but very, very subtly, and I really do like that. And then for the next leg, I wound up using a power-up card, so I didn't wind up doing the prompt. The prompt, I think, was read a book with low ratings that you think you might enjoy, and I just really wanted to read another mystery, so I read Bake, Borrow, and Steal by Ellie Alexander. I will attach a photo of here. This was another one that I really, really liked. Like, it was a fun, quick read. It was set at a Shakespeare event that kind of went horribly wrong. There was a murder, and it was fun. I really do like her mysteries. I think she always challenges it and does unique things. So I gave this book 4 stars for review. And then the last physical book that I read, and then I went to ALA and things got a bit hairy, was Wings of Starlight by Alison Saft. I give this book 4.75 stars. I really, really like this story. I will say, if you are a romantasy reader, I'm not sure you're going to like this book, but I did. I think it's more of a fantasy with romantic elements. I think there is a romantic thing. I don't think, maybe, unless we see other books, I don't know if it would classify as an official romance because the HEA is a little bit in question, but it was fun. It was set in Pixie Hollow. You see the new queen as she's trying to kind of come into her powers. There's a mystery about why things are coming into her house and like why people are being put to sleep, and she kind of has to work with the Lord of Winter. And I really liked it. That was a really, really sweet romance. A little bit on the long side, 400 pages. Maybe it could have been tightened up a little bit, but I really liked it, and I gave it 4.75 stars. And I definitely want to go back and read the other books about the other fairies when they come out. And then the last official book that I read for the Amazing Readathon, read a shorter than your last book. This book was like 400 pages. And I was at ALA at this point, and I just was like, I gotta read something quick and be done with it. So I read The Secret Garden by Mariana Marsden. It's a graphic novel on KU. I will touch a photo here. And this was super cute. Like, I really liked it. I thought it was a fun read. The Secret Garden when I was younger was one of my favorite movies, so I really did like it. And yeah, that's it. That's the Amazing Readathon. I definitely did DNF stuff. I stopped reading some stuff. Some books got put to the side, but I had a really, really fun time. I'm really excited it is summer break. I can give you guys all the content. I may have some exciting news planned for a trip I'm taking in August for my birthday, which I will share soon. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you're currently reading. What was your favorite book of the Amazing Readathon? I would love to know, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.